Water, water everywhere, not a drop to drink. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to explain why water is a renewable resource, describe the major causes of water scarcity, describe the variation in the availability of water with respect to space and time. Look at these images. In the first situation, we see that there is a lack of water in the area, and in the second situation, we observe there is excess water all around. What is common in both these situations? Both the situations may lead to loss of life and damage to plants and animals. There is lack of usable water in both the situations. Thus, water is a resource that can give life and take life as well. Can you think of a day without water? No. Water is very essential for our daily activities. We need water to drink, cook our food, wash our clothes, and wash ourselves as well. Can you state some of the other uses of water? We need water to grow crops, to keep the machines cool in factories, and to produce electricity. These are the reasons why people choose to live near water bodies since ages. Recall the hydrological cycle. Can you describe the stages of water in hydrological cycle? The hydrological cycle describes the continuous movement of water from one stage to another, that is, liquid, vapor, and solid. Water is continuously being renewed and recharged through this process. Though the balance of water on the earth remains fairly constant over time, individual water molecules can come and go. Recall the physical processes involved in hydrological cycle. Through various physical processes such as evaporation, condensation, precipitation, infiltration, runoff, and subsurface flow, the water moves from one reservoir to another, such as river, ocean, or the atmosphere. Thus, all water moves within the hydrological cycle, ensuring that water is a renewable resource. From where do we obtain fresh water in the water cycle? The fresh water can be obtained mainly from rain, surface runoff, and groundwater. These are some pictures from various parts of the country. Observing these images, what do you think is common among them? People living in these regions are not able to avail water easily. All these areas suffer from acute water shortage. When we speak about water shortage, we visualize the deserts of Rajasthan and women balancing many mud cars used for collecting water and traveling a long distance to get water. Thus, shortage of water as compared to its demand is known as water scarcity. What do you think are the reasons for scarcity of water? Recall the facts on water resources to know it better. 96.5% of the total volume of world's water is estimated to exist in ocean which is not usable. Only 2.5% of water exists as fresh water. Out of 2.5% fresh water, nearly 70% occurs as ice sheet and glaciers in Antarctica, Greenland, and other mountain regions of the world, and less than 30% is stored as groundwater in the world's aquifers. Now, let us look at our country. India receives nearly 4% of the global precipitation and ranks 133rd in the world in terms of water availability per person per annum. The total renewable water resources of India are estimated at 1,897 square kilometers per annum, but still have water scarcity. Water scarcity in most cases is caused by overexploitation and pollution due to population explosion, agriculture, industrialization, and urbanization. Unequal access to water among different social groups. There are some natural factors that enhance the problem. Availability of water over space, availability of water over time. Let us look at the spatial disparities for availability of water over space and time. Here is a map showing the average annual rainfall in different parts of India. What do you observe? There are areas that receive more than 200 centimeters average annual rainfall, such as parts of Assam, Meghalaya and Western Ghats, etc. Whereas areas like Rajasthan, parts of Gujarat, Karnataka, Maharashtra and Jammu and Kashmir receive less than 60 centimeters of average annual rainfall. Look at the river map of the country. Only some parts of the country are blessed with perennial rivers. Thus, there is a variation in availability of water over space. Can you recall the season in which our country receives most of its rainfall? In India, highest amount of rainfall occurs during few months of the year with the arrival of southwest monsoon, and rest of the months is comparatively dry. Countries like Israel receive only 25 centimeters of average annual rainfall but do not experience water scarcity, whereas India receives 114 centimeters of average annual rainfall and still faces drought every year. What do you think are the reasons for this? Water scarcity in India is mainly caused by depletion of groundwater aquifer through overexploitation and excessive use, unequal access to water among different social groups, lack of water management, excessive runoff due to less vegetative cover. You will be surprised to know that some 40% of water is lost to water leakages and broken pipes and canals, which is mainly caused by illegal tapping. A leaping population demands greater amount of water for domestic use. Rising population means greater demand for food too. How do we fulfill the demand for greater amount of food? Greater demand for food can be fulfilled by higher production of crops. Greater production means again use of huge amount of water. To facilitate higher food grain production, water resources are being overexploited to expand irrigated areas. Wells and tube wells are used excessively to irrigate the cultivated fields, where canal irrigation facilities are not convenient. Farming uses up to 70 times more water than is used for cooking and washing. Many countries have to import more than half their food needs because they do not have enough water to grow more food. Overexploitation of groundwater may lead to falling aquifer levels, adversely affecting the water availability and food security of the people. Let us look at the example of Bangalore. Bangalore gets water from three main sources, around 810 MLD or million liters per day from the river Kaveri, around 120 MLD from TG Halli tank and 50 MLD from underground water resources. It is estimated that 40% of the population of Bangalore is dependent on groundwater. 50 MLD groundwater is used by 40% of the population, and 930 MLD water is used by 60% of the population. Do you think it is distributed equally? No, there is unequal distribution of water in every city in our country. Moreover, groundwater extraction has caused the water table to drop variously from 90 to 300 meters below ground level as compared to an average water table depth of about 30 meters 2 decades ago. Rapid urbanization in and around Bangalore has destroyed many wetlands, which has also contributed to the decrease in the water table. Out of the 51 lakes in the city in 1973, only 17 remained in 2007. Since the city does not have natural source for surface water, people are forced to dig deeper and deeper bore wells, which again leads to depletion of aquifer. Recently, large industrial houses and multinational companies are creating a boom in urbanization. Ever-increasing number of industries and respective urban areas are exerting a huge pressure on existing freshwater resources. Industries and urban areas, apart from being heavy users of water, also require power to run them. Much of this energy requirement is fulfilled by hydroelectric power. Hydroelectric power contributes approximately 22% of the total electricity produced in our country. There are some parts of India where water is sufficiently available, but those areas also suffer from water scarcity. Why do you think it is so? Almost all the surface water sources in India, including the rivers, are polluted. The small rivers have all turned into toxic streams. Big rivers like Ganga and Yamuna are also highly polluted. What do you think are the reasons for water pollution? Most of the surface water is polluted by domestic and industrial waste, chemicals, pesticides and fertilizers used in agriculture, making it hazardous for human use. Religious practices are causing water pollution in many of the rivers like River Ganga. According to the report by World Health Organization, out of 3,119 towns and cities in India, only 209 have partial treatment facilities and another 8 cities have full wastewater treatment plants. We all are aware of the surface water pollution because we can see them. Is groundwater safe and away from pollution? Let us have a look at one of the most terrifying reports on groundwater contamination. In 2002, the Pollution Monitoring Laboratory of the New Delhi-based Center for Science and Environment found pesticide residues, organochlorine and organophosphorus in 17 brands of bottled water commonly sold in Delhi. Most of these companies use water from bore wells with depths varying from 24 to 152 meters below the ground. Even the raw water samples also proved the presence of pesticide residues. These pesticides are also found in popular cold drink brands sold across the country. Exposure to even minuscule amounts of these pesticides can result in chronic effects like cancer, liver and kidney damage, disorders of the nervous system, damage to the immune system, and birth defects in the long run. There is an urgent call for water resource management in India on the following grounds: to safeguard ourselves from health hazards, to ensure food security, for continuation of our livelihoods and productive activities, to prevent degradation of our natural ecosystem. Let us learn more about water management in our next lesson.